Hi everyone. My name is Val. I feel like at school, like I'm in exam or something, but my name is Val, Valentina. Okay, today I'm gonna be talking to you about of mental health in the fitness industry and
Yeah,
why
just
does
breaking
it
up a little
matter.
bit, Vale.
Sorry, but I'm gonna give it my all. Okay. So first of all, I
Okay.
like to start. Sorry,
You're breaking up a little bit. I don't know if it's the
I
same
didn't
experience
hear you.
for
Some.
others, but
Is everything okay?
yeah, now I hear better.
Let
Okay,
me know,
let's
because
let's go. Okay, now it's better. Let's go.
now, yeah, okay. So, okay, first of all, I want to tell you, who am I? Why am I talking about this? I'm 23 years old, and I was born and half raised in Chetumal. That is a place here in Mexico. It's really close from where you guys were at Right World. Well, kind of close. And the other half, I was here in beautiful Merida. I've always been this kind of nerdy girl. I love to know. I love knowing, and I think that's why I love my career so much. Because I love to know why things happen, how they happen, you know. And I was also the girl that was involved in like a thousand activities. Like for real, I did everything: dancing, swimming, basketball, volleyball. I even had horseback riding. I was I don't know. I remember there was this one time that I even learned to speak languages, and I love the ONU stuff. So I was even in Switzerland competing in Wyman, and yeah, I did a lot of stuff. As of right now, I have 4 years coaching, mainly indoor cycling and functional training. I have 6 years of dancing in high performance sports, especially I dance hip hop and I dance flamenco. And I was in 5 years, 6 years in swimming. And I'm currently studying veterinary medicine. I want to be a horse doctor and baby cows doctors. And I'm about to graduate finally. And well, the reason why I specifically am talking about this topic is because I have a personal journey with anxiety, depression, and ADHD. And from really young, I mean, I'm only 23 years old, and I've been struggling with this even since I can remember. And I wanted to add up this phrase that really, I was reading some stuff the other day, and it really touched me because for me, it's completely true. Fitness saved me, but sometimes it also broke me. And I hate to say that, but I mean, here, I don't know the context in other countries. If I'm not wrong, it's kind of the same. Not for everyone, but kind of the same. But fitness, specifically high performance sports, can get really toxic. Dancing can get really toxic. Like the environment can be pretty hard on some athletes. And for me, I loved it with all my heart, but there was this time or this moment where I really had to leave it behind because it was hurting me more than it was actually helping me, you know? So I wanted to start being an Aquarius and a revolutionary with a myth busting. That'd be physical health is not or does not equal necessarily mental health. And it's something that I always try to keep in my mind because there was some uh, period of my life that I even felt less than my partners and less than my peers, if I can call it that way, because I could see them growing and going at it and being, just kind of perfect. And everything about me just felt wrong because everyone was telling me that it was wrong. Like, and when I was trying to heal, but also like move forward with my sport, but also I didn't want to be crying all the time. And I remember that as a little kid, I had like maybe 11, 12 years old. And I remember that I was constantly asking myself, God, why am I so sad? And why am I constantly winning and achieving and trying to prove myself to my coach, but also feel so sad and empty? you know? And that's what I wanted to start with this specifically, like phrase, physical health does not equal mental health, not necessarily. And in fitness culture, we often sell this fit as fine. And I that's why I hate the word fit. I hate it. Oh, you're fit. Oh, I mean, okay, you're fit, but how are you fit? What or what on you fit? Like I don't like the idea of using this word to just englobe everything. And then we get to this point where right now the fitness industry it started to get into this like double-edged sword of discipline and obsession. Like, okay, we can be disciplined, but there is a fine line between being disciplined and being obsessive. And we started normalizing phrases like no pain, no gain, or these common things among some coaches of being, and not just coaches, even us and as athletes, being like, hey, I need to do this because I have to earn my hamburger, or I have to earn my meal, or I have to punish myself because last night I had a bowl of Choco Crispies. If you don't know what Choco Crispies is, I'm sorry. But I had a bowl of Choco Crispies, and today I have to train 3 hours. And it's this constant, like, unhealthy practice that at the end of the day, it's gonna be hard on us. It's gonna add up a weight on us. And then just because I'm a doctor and I always go by the statistics, so mental health issues in fitness are common but silent. Like I was doing some some research and reading, and I was looking at how like at least 35%, if not more, because a lot of them keep silent, of elite athletes experience mental health challenges such as anxiety, depression, eating disorders are like one of the biggest things in a lot of the fitness industry, and even burnout at some point in their careers. And specifically for coaches, 75% of them admit to their job negatively impacts their mental health. Because we as coaches, we always want to be like the superhero. We like to be these people that we don't get tired. We are always here. We don't need rest. We have to lift heavy weights. We need to endure 30 minutes outside the saddle. And sometimes it's okay not to do that. Sometimes it's okay to just endure 2 minutes, to just lift medium weight, but we are not trained like that. Specifically, that word is really hard to say. Specifically, in like high performance sports, it can get really, there's no mark for error. I remember in my swimming era that my coach would always be like, I mean, if you want to be mediocre, you can train to be mediocre. And I mean, I know that these kind of talks can, they do, coaches, we do that to help our people, but we are not really like, Catherine said, we're not waiting our words. Something that your coach tells you, it stays with you. I remember stuff that I was told when I was 10 years old. I remember them and I carry with me, and I have to even take therapy to heal from those stuff. And for example, talking about swimming, well, I'm not gonna get there. And wait 1 minute, but what I wanted to say in this slide is that what I wanted to keep with you guys was that behind every strong athlete, there's often a silent battle that no one sees. And not just for us as coaches, but also like as redundant athletes. We sometimes get to the studio, or we get to our jobs, or and we have all this day of working and stuff. And sometimes we speak, and sometimes we don't even measure our words, and we can end up hurting someone. And that's something that I always, me being a coach and being a doctor, that emotionally is so hard sometimes. I always try to, when I leave the clinic, be like, okay, church and state. church is done. I have to be a coach right now. And I cannot let my stress and my hurt and my anger towards what happened in the clinic be the reason that I hurt someone right now being a coach. I mean, if anyone wants to comment about that, you can interrupt me, okay? Because I cannot see you. So, well, why does this matter? Real life consequences. I had a lot, but I wanted to put specifically four. First of all, burnout. Burnout is one of the first things that happens, um, because it's the first things that break will always be, funny enough, will always be our spirit. And I always like to say that because sometimes I can feel my body. For example, right now, I feel my body strong. Like I never felt this strong. I feel so strong and I'm training and I love to see that. But at the same time, I've been going through some stuff personally and I can feel my spirit shutting down. And that for me starts to be like, I was telling Omar the other day, like, hey, I'm meditating, you'll be proud of me. Because right now I can feel like I can listen to my soul even more. And like I remember yesterday that I was meditating and I was like, hey, I need to go to the beach this weekend. I need to do that. I need to, like Catherine said, I need to fill my cup because I'm about to break. And sometimes recognizing that can be really hard, but hey, listen to yourself. For real, like if you're training, and I don't know if anyone has had this like experience, but for me, it's like I'm training and I can feel my body, like my body can go harder. Like I know right now that I can go heavier and I can go harder and I can endure a run, but I also feel tired. I feel I just start talking and I feel like I want to cry, and I arrive home after a day and I'm crying my eyes out of the shower for no reason because I just, last night I was listening to They Don't Really Care About Us, Michael Jackson, and I was crying my eyes out in the shower. Like, I mean, that's one of the first signs of a burnout, that we need to recognize that, hey, this is happening. Because then we get to the other one. We start to overtrain and we start to try to quiet our voices down and quiet our minds down and increase risk of injury. You know when you're going to stop? When your body does not, or when your body cannot keep up with you. And that has happened to me a lot. I don't know if anyone here has happened to, but when you are ignoring yourself and you have that pain in your shoulder or in your leg, and you know where you're going to stop? When you literally cannot get on the bike. That's where we're going to stop. And I still keep doing it. I cannot blame you. I do it all the time. I've been hurting my shoulder for like 2 weeks, and only yesterday I made my appointment because right now I cannot lift a weight. So we get to the injury when we really do not need to. We can stop. Then I was telling you about eating disorders. Body image issues and eating disorders are one of the most common things right now in the fitness industry. Like right now, we have a lot of people, thank God, that are trying to really show on social media and stuff what true meals look like, what it's like to fuel up a body with meals. And I love to see that. But I still then, you know, come across some people showing diets that, I mean, they don't really look complete. I mean, I cannot judge, I'm not a nutritionist, but like you see at the portions and you're like and you see this, I had one friend the other day talking about this, the still the stigma with the keto diet and this and the how people can bring you, she was kind of bringing me down or wanted me to show off that she's on this like fasting thing. And I'm like, hey, I mean, I didn't tell her, right? But I cannot do fasting. I have a heart condition and I cannot do fasting. My heart needs energy. And for me, doing fasting would mean a lot of stress on my heart. And medically, I cannot do that. So she trying to, keeping me down because I eat the same that she is, but just over all day. It's and this like always like body shaming and comparing ourselves. And that was something that I was talking when I met Alicia, that for me it's been a personal case, because I mean I've always been a big girl, and honestly as of right now I love being a big girl. I love my muscles and I love my huge legs, and I love to look myself in the mirror and go, oh, look at my shoulders. But there was one time that I didn't do that. And especially speaking from being a swimmer, that I also wanted to be a horseback rider. Imagine going from swimming and having this huge back where everyone would be like, oh my god, your back bow, and then going into horseback riding, it was like, you don't look like a horseback rider. And I was like, oh, okay. And I stopped doing it. I literally I left my dream of being a horseback rider because they told me I didn't look like one, because I was big, and horseback riders are not big. And if anyone here is a horseback rider, that's not true. Your body's perfect. You can look whatever you want. Okay. And finally, impact on long-term consistency and athletic performance. Why? Because as I said, my dream was to be Michael Phelps. I wanted to be Michael Phelps. I wanted to be Katinka Hosu. I wanted to do it big. And I left it because I couldn't do it anymore. I couldn't bear the pressure and the bullying and the harassment. It was, and that's why this is so important. Catherine was talking right now about curiosity. Well, curiosity needs to be complemented with this feeling of being taken care of. I don't know if that makes sense, but I remember that one of the coaches when I first started writing, there was my first ever coach was a girl in the studio, and I remember that when I was in that studio, I felt so left like out of place, because I mean they even wanted me to sign non like these arranged agreements when they like get out of consequences if something happens to you. I know it has a name, but I don't know it. I'm sorry. So that's it's an agreement that they, if something happens to you, they have no like consequences or responsibilities. Well, they wanted me to sign one of those, and the only difference, because it was only me, like I was going with a group of friends, and the only difference between me and my group of friends was that I was fat and they were not. They wanted me to sign one of those because I had bigger or higher risk to get injured because I was fat. And when I told the girl that, she was like, no, no, no. I mean, yeah, but it's not just because of that. And I was like, oh, okay. I never came back. Then I met my one of my mentors, Caro Fit. Caro Fit is amazing. And funny enough, she was the first coach that did not only inspire me, but she made me feel taken care of. Like she made me feel that someone was out there. And there was even sometimes that I'd be crying after class, and she would come over and hug me and be like, "Hey, are you okay?" And I'm like, "Well, yes, stranger, I don't know you, but you made me cry with your words." Because I think we sometimes forget that what we are saying over class when we're trying to motivate our people, like I said before, it has a big impact. They're gonna stay with it. Like I remember when I went to my cycling classes on morning, that whatever the message on the, I don't know how they call it in your countries, but here in Mexico is the moment. The song before the last song is called the moment, and those words were the ones that defined my day, because hey, my coach said that, she's right. And imagine if you're going every day to a place that is only bringing you down, and when you feel compared and when you feel, well, you're not going to do it on the long term, you're going to leave it behind, you're going to hate the sport. That's actually what happens to me when I was starting to be a coach. I hated the bike. I hated it with all my life. I just wanted to be a functional coach. I mean, oh my God, I hated it so much, like for real. The only reason I'm a coach right now is because one day one crazy muscular woman came up into my um my feet. That crazy muscle up woman, beautiful woman is Alicia. And I was like, hey, there's someone like me out there. Like, I can do this. And yeah, here I am. So the power we have as coaches and athletes, I wanted to point out five. First of all, language matters. And I'm going to keep saying that until the last slide. Language matters. Reframe how we talk about our bodies, about performance, about struggle. It's starting with us coaches because we are the example, but also you as athletes. You are the example for your other, fellow athletes riding with you in the class. And I always say that on my classes. I think Max is here. He's a Lubito, and I always try to be like, hey, if you someone is going down, bring them up. I don't know if Luis is here. I think he's not because he's working. But Luis Aviles, when I was a writer, he was the one who, I mean, he turned around and be like, "Get up, bitch," but but he made me get up. Like that's bringing you up. So us as coaches, if we're putting the example out that hey, my body is, and that's something that I learned the bad way, but I was the person who talked really bad about their body because at the end of, well, until today I still struggle with it. Like I'm not gonna lie, I still look sometimes at the mirror and be like, "Ugh." But I'm trying to work on that because I cannot ask them to love their bodies if I don't love mine. I cannot do that. RuPaul says it all the time. If you so you cannot like teach someone to love themselves if you don't start with yourself. Okay? And it also goes to performance and struggle. Well, I tried so hard to be the I'm not saying this in a mean way, okay? I'm sorry if it sounds that way. But I never wanted to be the robot coach because there are some kind of coaches, and I'm not like insulting it. They like to look, all tidy up and straight, and I mean, if that's your kind of coaching, go for it. You look amazing for real. But for me, I cannot do that. I have a bomb under my ass. I need to move. I mean, I'm a dancer. I need to go out there. And I knew from the start that I didn't want it to be that kind of coach. But there was this time or this like season of my life that I wanted to look like I didn't struggle. Like I think all of us coaches do that. We don't want to show our weakness. And I had no people in my class. I none. When was the time when I started filling up my classes? It was the moment when I stood up and be like, I get tired just as you. My legs cramp just as you. My shoulders hurt, and I'm here with you. We can do this real. I'm real just like you know? And then that gets us to the empathy thing. We need to learn to see beyond form and performance. We need to do that because we need to check on them. We need to ask, hey, sometimes our performance is completely related to how are we feeling. Like for I was telling you guys, I feel my body strong. Like I've never felt it before. But yesterday I sat down because honestly, I couldn't get up. Feel wise, I couldn't get up. Like I couldn't bring myself, and that's something that is there's honor in recognizing that, and those are sorry. So yeah, we need to ask them, how are you doing, what's going on, do you need to sit, learn that performance can be related to feelings, can be related to emotions, and that the 100% that we show in class and that our athletes show us in class is gonna look however it's gonna look that day because it's not the same every day. Your 100% depends on your day and your decisions to stay or sit, to fight or give up. That's your 100%, and you need to honor that. Okay? Normalize rest. We need to stop glorifying the grind. Okay? We need to value our recovery. We need to know when to stop. We need to recognize that our body needs a break. And more importantly, we need to recognize that our minds, our souls needs a break. And we need that, especially if we as coaches, we want to keep inspiring, we want to keep giving. I always say this, we are a cup of water and we give from our water to everyone. in the room, but we need to fill that cup up, like Catherine said, in order for us to keep giving. So, rest. We need to normalize that. We need to educate ourselves. Basic mental health awareness, knowing when to refer it out. Because I was talking to someone the other day, and she was saying that how us coaches, we are not therapists, but we need to be conscious of the fact that, like I said before, our words have power, and that we can recognize because the energy in the room never lies. And you can see someone that's struggling, and there is not a physical struggle. So reach out. Are you okay? Do you need someone to talk to? Can I help you with anything? Can are you do you need a psychologist? Like I can give you one if you like, Just a simple question. Are you okay? Can I do something for you? And obviously create safe spaces. Places where it's okay to talk about mental health struggles without shame. Like there have been some times that I stand up in the podium and be like, if you're struggling, like this is okay. Like I struggle too. And that's like a basic one. But I even had one time there was this girl in the bathroom trying to hide her cuts with her long sleeves. And I entered the bathroom. That wasn't my studio, and she was crying. And I remember that she felt so ashamed of like her scars. And I was like, baby, you don't need to be afraid of them. You don't need to be ashamed. Like, that's your story too. And I have, I have some scars too. I'm not ashamed of them. I can show it. I can stand in a podium and I can stand in a stage and be like, I have scars and I'm not ashamed of them. They are my story. They're part of me, and they does not make me weak. They make me strong. No. Now we're finishing. So actions that you can take today. Revisit your coaching languages and cues. Really, us as coaches, really take a look at what you're saying in class. And hey, let me be concise with it. It's like it's not bad for you to motivate your team because we need to do that. Like I love it. When I was in Radio War and the first time that Alicia screamed at me like, get the fuck up, I was like, oh my god, finally. I was so excited. Like she finally told me to get the fuck up. I was so happy. And it's not a bad thing, but it's not a bad thing because Alicia does not do it from a bad place. You can feel the energy. You can feel that behind that get the fuck up. There's a need and an energy from her to be like, hey, I know you can do this. Stop lying to yourself and get the fuck up. That's the energy behind her. That's what I feel and every time I hear it because that's the intention behind it. But if you get bad intention in your words, it's gonna feel. I don't know if that makes sense, but it's gonna feel. It's gonna be part of your message. Remember that we are only a physical embodiment of our soul. If your soul comes from a bad way, it's gonna feel. If your soul comes from a beautiful, well, I don't want to say beautiful, but if your soul comes from a place of love and respect and actually trying to motivate, it's gonna feel like it. Okay? To check in emotionally with your team in class. You don't need to be a friends with them if you don't want to, but check in emotionally. Like if you see one of your top peers, top class, like for example, yesterday Ana Karen. If you don't know Ana Karen, she's the person that I scream the most to in my class. Ivan always says that I even have like tones for her, and
Karen.
she is Ana Karen. So she's an amazing athlete, and if she's here, she's gonna be mad at me that I brought it up. But she's so amazing, and I hate it sometimes she doesn't see it. Like for real, she fights to stay up. She is always there, and if it hurts, she's there. And if it's I don't know, she's just if she makes mistakes, she just screams and go back at it. She's so amazing. And yesterday I saw her really struggling, and at the end of the class, I was like, "Hey," she was like, "I can feel my legs. Like they're dead. And I was like, when was the last time you went to a recovery session, to a physiotherapist? Like, when was the last time? And she was like, last year. I was like, hey, I mean, that's not kind of emotional, but that touch of just going over there and be like, what's going on? Because sometimes I'd be like, I didn't sleep, or yesterday I didn't have dinner, and that may sound like nothing, but it's a lot when you're exercising. You know, build a mental health support network. That's for you as a coach and also for you as an athlete. Build a mental health support. If you don't like to go to a therapist, Omar is here. Omar takes his therapy sessions with ChatGPT, with AI. Is that what said? AI, yeah, AI, artificial intelligence. So he actually does that, and I mean, Omar is one of the most like mindful persons that I had the fortune to meet. Like, I've learned so much from him. I even learned to meditate things to him, and that also reminded me that building a mental health support starts with you. Like, I've been going through therapy ever since I was 12 years old, and I think I never really got better at it until I started to listen to myself, me. And that's been the last month that my amazing brother Omar taught me to meditate, you know? And well, lead by example. Normalize rest and vulnerability. We need to start putting that example out to be like, hey, I'm gonna plan my workout week, and in this workout week, this is the day I'm gonna rest. For me, for example, my day rest is Sunday, and on Sunday you cannot move me from my bed. I'm not gonna get out. I care if something happens to you, but if I can resolve it from my phone, I'll do it. But if you really need me, okay, I get up. But I love my bed, and I need that day. I need to that day with my hachi, and just be there with my hachi, and give that example to your people. Really give them that motive or that reason. Explain to them why it's important for them to rest. Okay. And well, I wanted to give you some phrases to remember that are important to me that I always try to keep with myself. And those are three. I always have them written down everywhere. First of all, there is no real fitness if it doesn't care for both mind and body. Fitness is a combination of both. You need to take care of both. If you're just a strong athlete because your body is strong, you need to take care of the other one. Okay? Being strong also means allowing ourselves to be vulnerable. I personally believe that there is a crazy strength in vulnerability. The moment that you decide to be vulnerable is the moment that you decide to give in into the most powerful version of yourself. Because you're no longer forcing yourself all these walls. You're no longer trying to fight and you're wasting energy keeping those walls up. That's when our coach told me that one. You are wasting energy keeping those walls up. You don't have time to waste energy. Let them be. Give yourself permission to feel, to hurt, to. When I'm at class, I'm always Max is here. I always say to them, we're not advanced people because we do everything perfect. We are the advanced crew because we learned to fail. We learned to enjoy our failures. We learned to celebrate our failures, and specifically, we learned or we decided. I don't know how to call it. We learned to be vulnerable enough to be real. That's why we are advanced. We're not trying to show off. We're not trying to be, these crazy people that do everything perfect. We're trying to be real human beings training. That's why we are advanced. We have no shame in that. And lastly, discipline should be built from self-love, not self-punishment. Always keep that in mind. The moment that I started to endure more in my runs was the moment that I stopped talking to myself with shame and hate, and I started doing it with love and strength. Every time I'll be up there, Catherine was talking about the counts, but I'll be up there and be like, you cannot sit down. You cannot sit down, Val. Ivan is still up. Luis is still up. Like, look at Max. He hasn't sat down. Don't you dare sit down. You cannot do that. And last few months that I've been meditating, when I'm up there, I'm like, just 3 more seconds. You can do this. It's okay. It's just pain. You're gonna numb. Keep your body, like Catherine was like, keep your body up, open your chest. You're okay. It's gonna be okay. That completely changed my way of, And well, yeah, this is me. Oh my god, I forgot I put those pictures. But okay, what I wanted to say to you, closing, was true strength is asking for help. If you need help, I don't care if I'm in Merida, Yucatan, and like you're 12 hours away from me. If you're in Kuwait, if you're in Singapore, I'm here for you, for real. I'm always here for you. Whatever you guys need, even if you didn't have the time to chat with me, I really want to put it out there that you have a shoulder here in this Yucatecan friend of yours, like forever and ever. And I think the people that were close to me know it. Renata, some all of you are very special to me. And I wanted to close with those pictures because the picture with that's my Hachi. That is, even if you don't believe it, because I always look older, that's a 12-year-old Valentina. And in that picture, I was 1 week out of the hospital because I had a suicide attempt that I've grown out on. And I wanted to put the picture because that was almost 11 years ago. And I may cry, I'm sorry, I'm a crier. But I never thought that I'd be having this life, like everything has changed. And on the other picture, that's my first ever photo shoot on We Active. My first ever. That was the first time that they were like, "Hey, coach, we need to take pictures for you for a page." And that was like 5 years ago, 4 years ago, and I wanted to put those pictures because at that moment I was still cutting. I was still really bad, and I remember that was the time, that was the date, and I was like, I'm not doing this anymore. I want to be an example and I need to start with me. And the first thing I did was ask for help. I started going to therapy and I started treating myself and hearing myself. And right now, looking back at the pictures, last night that I was adding the pictures, I was crying my eyes out because I really felt like I had nothing. And looking back, I've always been so blessed. And right now, I feel so blessed and so thankful for this, for you guys, for knowing all of you. And, if you're going through a tough time, let me tell you, it gets better. The balance, I always say this, the balance always evens out. Nothing can be too bad or too good all the time. That's life. Okay, so if you're going through a tough time, you're gonna be okay. I promise you, it's gonna be okay. And if you cannot be okay right now, that's okay too. Just keep going. And if you need a friend, I'm here. And well, if you have any questions, I'm here. I can listen to you, whatever you like.
Thank you,
Wow.
Vale.
You, Vale.
Thank you a lot for.
Before we go to the questions, Sundu, can I make two
Yeah.
comments?
How can I? Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yes. Can everybody hear me? My voice today is not as pretty as normally is. No, but really, like I try to not interfere as much as on because it's about the master coaches. Remember, like it's because of all of you attendees and the master coaches' willingness to participate in these conversations that are very candid, that are very honest, and are willing for us to be sharing in a safe space. And it would not be possible without the support of each of us. Like Catherine is in vacation. She has to stop her margarita to come here. But I didn't went to school, so I have to talk to her teacher. And everybody I know is at work. Really, I just wanted to make a quick note in each of these two speakers. I know I haven't done it in the past, but because as everybody have an impact in your life, and that's the most beautiful part about this community, is that if we are open enough, our heart and our minds, we can learn from people that we don't even imagine in our entire life. We can learn from them because sometimes we see people that are so different. Cultural is different, language, the way that they behave, the way that they eat. Like most of the things that Alicia eat, I will never eat. uh, respectfully, but I always cheated on up my girl. Like, but it's really like how we can learn from the things. And Catherine and Vale represent two very beautiful fundamental pillars in the rider world and global flow cycle community, and I want to explain why very quickly. When I have the opportunity to meet Catherine, she was one of the 44 coaches that I will say with few words, maybe completely out of my comfort zone. And out of kindness. She was very kind. We were having a very quick conversation on the venue. And then she was addressing my business partner who is here, is Hugo. She was addressing like the importance of different business partners and energy wise. Because as everyone knows, I'm very out and loud. And Hugo is much more shy and strategic in the things that we make decisions on. And Catherine brought that attention to me, like, what Hugo has been doing and what you have been doing. And it was very shocking for me because not a lot of people is even aware that Hugo and I work together all the time because Hugo is really more like the strategic person behind it. Um, so Catherine put me in the spot of always reminding that regardless of whoever we are surrounded, regardless of it's always the people that is next to us and in the back and next and in their side that help us to pursue what we need. And I think like that's one of the things. Sundus is the one that chooses the speakers for the lectures. But for me, it's very impactful that Catherine and her topics today address these kind of things, in the way that not just like how to be a leadership and how to build confidence and curiosity. It built curiosity out of me, of trying to understand where is my place in this team, in this community, and where is everybody else's place. So thank you, Catherine. And then for Vale, I just have to congratulate her. Like I've been his rider for a long time. We actually started cycling together a couple of years ago. She was like 2 years old, and I was a little bit older. And Vale was this inspiration of being it's always very difficult, and I know as writers and as coaches in this community, because sometimes we wanted to be vulnerable, but we don't want to make a soap opera about us and our problems and what we're carrying. And because people doesn't also show up in our classes or our events or our communities for lectures just to hear about our problems. And I think Vale is a perfect example in how we can address vulnerable points, but also be reliable to others and people that are in the same battle. Sometimes she plays this song that speaks about getting in your mind and getting in the place of your life where you didn't like yourself. And for herself, it's a completely different scenario for myself. I used to be, and I'm proudly saying it because I think it's a problem in the industry, the writer that never sit down, the writer that I was always in front row, the writer that I needed to do everything up beyond. And then thanks to Vale and Vale vulnerability, I understood that that was a lack on my understanding of how to be a community. And you cannot be a community if you are ahead of everybody else. You cannot be a community if you are behind of everybody else. Like you really need to stick to where people is. As writers, that Claudia asked that question, that's how we lead the room as writers. You don't overdo. You can overtrain because nobody knows how many years you have. But you don't have to show it to the entire room in a way that people feel bad about themselves. And that thing, Vale, I think is like speaking by vulnerability is a topic that it was very important for us to Sundus, to everyone, for us to bring that up because not everybody is talking about it. Like we are in wellness and we are in a fitness industry, but let's never forget that we can take people, and Marion is a good example. We can take people from point A to you don't even imagine where. But you don't have to make it in a way that they feel less about themselves. You don't have to compare yourself. Like, if I can do it, you can do it. You can make people feel and be empowered by the way that you address things. And I think that's the work that we all doing. So just wanted to congratulate everyone and thank you for this. And I will let Sundus close this, but because I won't cry. I don't cry in public.
We need to talk about that. Why don't you cry in public, Ivan?
Because then I never stop
Right.
crying.
Yeah. Talking
Then I
about
don't
being
stop crying.
Vulnerability. You gotta be vulnerable everywhere. I'm kidding. I would kill you if you cry in public. I need you to be, the leader you are. I love to joke. So I'm really, really humbled today to share this with all of you. Catherine, Valentina, it was really insightful, and I had this blend in my head. Like, I want two people to really like. I love when I have two speakers and the age difference is not the same. And I see like people 22, 23 and talking about in my life, in the beginning of my life, and I'm like, they just started their life. How is it even possible? And the truth is, the world today is really harder, and everyone has their share of struggles and their experiences, their pasts and their fights. And that's why mental health today is not weakness. Is not, oh my God, we're talking about like emotions and we're athletes. There's a lot of this happening and going on as a message. Is like, yeah, we're athletes, we don't cry, we don't whatever. No, actually you do. And emotions is the structure that leads either is your rider, coach, whatever. It is always there, and it's important to let it really, like we have layouts today to express, and it doesn't mean that we are less or we are not like weak or not strong or not where we need to be. And as you were talking about, everyone has a sentence in their head, like they will repeat in classes to get through. I tried yours, Catherine, yesterday about the 8 counts. I was about to die. It didn't work for me. I need to find something else, but it was very cool to try it on a climb, very long one. And I love this, small cues that everyone can share. So thank you, really, really from the bottom of my heart. I don't know if someone has something to say, or we can just close it because we really did like 1 hour and a half. So
I do really quick.
yeah, okay. You have like 3 minutes.
No,
and then I'm
2 minutes.
shutting you off.
Guys.
I'm kidding. Go for it.
Representation matters. And in the business, and Valentina, you know why I love you. Representation matters. There's a lot of people out there that has been discouraged from becoming athletes, from working out, because we got into a business where you need to see perfect bodies, perfect sequences, perfect everything. And one of the reasons why I love Valentina so much since I met her is because she's breaking that. She's breaking that wall. So as a writer, as someone that doesn't necessarily fit what's out there, like society wants to pull us in, I encourage all of you coaches here to really, really empower those people. That person that we know it's not confident, that it's trying really hard, you can tell, empower those people. And Valentina, thank you so much for everything you do. It's trickling down wider than you really think.
Thank you so much, Claudia. Thank you, Vale, Catherine, everyone who's here. Stay tuned for the next one, and I'll see you next week.